Damn, I was early on that.
Welcome in Foolz to episode 37 of the Fantasy Foolz podcast, where we go over all fantasy football relevant news, injury updates, matchup previews, recaps. And today we are excited. This is episode number 2 of the week, and we are excited to give you some information going on into week 6 matchups. So to kick it off, we're going to just get right into it as we did not do last time because we missed that one, but we're going to get right into it this time and just go over the teams you need to be on the lookout for that are under bye.
I would say we didn't miss last time because they didn't know we missed the last time, because the last time was actually a recorded one that we recapped last week. However, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You just confused everybody, but cool.
This is fun.
The bye weeks, all right?
No one was confused.
I was confused. Anyway, going into the bye weeks, unfortunately, we got a few teams that are actually super fantasy relevant, honestly, on buys. We got the Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings. So you're going to be looking for guys like Justin Jefferson. You're going to be looking for guys like Kareem Hunt, Kyron Williams, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, all these guys like that are on those 4 teams. You're going to end up needing to have those guys covered with someone else. We're going to try and help you out with that. So let's go into that first week, right? That first game. We're talking about San Francisco and Seattle. Unfortunately, we're recording this during the actual game, so we can't really help you with that right now. So we're going to actually jump ahead to Sunday's matchup.
The score is currently 16-3. San Francisco 49ers are in the lead.
It's halftime.
And Brandon Ayuk has done nothing.
Want to know who has done something?
Deebo Samuel.
Deebo Samuel.
And Jordan Mason is now
Deebo.
Jordan Mason is now injured. Guess who has him?
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping he's coming back, though. We'll see. I kind of like the Jordan Mason story. And honestly, the third string is not cutting it. Not cutting it at all. I don't know what you guys are thinking. But
nope.
We can go into the Monday. The 9:30.
Monday, Michael, the Monday. Monday, yeah. Mike, you love Monday.
We got to change that. We got to change that.
It's very easy to follow.
On purpose. Yeah, it says 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, because I just changed 9:30 a.m. Anyway, Jacksonville versus Chicago. So this game is going to be interesting. On the Jacksonville side, I don't think I'm really playing. It's going to be interesting, yes, because I actually really want to see how Brian Thomas Jr. plays against a top-notch defense. The Chicago defense is for real. They are a top 5 defense, and I really want to see how Brian Thomas Jr., a first-round pick this year, who has been lighting up the league so far with Trevor Lawrence, I want to know how he can handle that and how the Jaguars can handle it overall. Honestly, he's the only play, though. He's the only locked-in play. There's other guys who you want to basically throw in there. ETN, you're probably playing because you got him. You're not going to take him out. Lawrence is an option. Strange has been a decent tight end option. Christian Kirk, I feel like you could play him, but he's more of a flex guy for me.
He's borderline wide receiver 3 right now.
Yeah, he's like that really flex guy.
He really is. So I'm not really leaning that way. He's probably avoiding my flex. The only person you're definitely not playing is the Jacksonville defense. But on the other side of the ball, you got DJ Moore, you got DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift's going to have a monster game here. I think he's going to get a lot of work. Maybe not get that touchdown, but he's going to get a lot of work just trying to ice this clock, as I think Chicago's going to run away with it. But that being said, I really like Rome Odunze in this one. I think he's been, honestly, Caleb's first real target. DJ Moore is obviously wide receiver 1, but I think he really likes throwing to Rome, especially the deep ball. Outside of them, all the other guys, they're going to end up being fringe. I wouldn't play the rest of them. So really the 3 plays I have are DJ Moore, Swift, and Rome Odunze.
I disagree. I think the only 2 starts are Brian Thomas Jr. and DJ Moore. I don't think we've seen enough from this Bears offense, specifically Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift. I don't think we've seen enough to go into that playing confidently to start them, unless they're your only options. But I don't think I've seen enough to really own in on that.
I tend to agree with you, Tyler. Perhaps, you're in a situation you have to play one of these guys due to the bye weeks that Mike mentioned earlier.
Correct.
The only person I would add to who I would probably play with some confidence this week is DeAndre Swift. He's been doing very well the past 2 weeks. I think it's a sign of things to come. And as Mike said, that Bears passing defense is very good. He's going to have a lot of volume this week, I think.
Yeah.
Now,
Jordan, take us into Tampa Bay.
Moving on to our next matchup, we have Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. This was a tough one for me to figure out who I really feel is a starter here. I got to say, you're not benching Evans and Godwin. Both are too good. Both are playing lights out. However, they haven't been great to quarterbacks. Now, in this matchup, in terms of quarterbacks, the Saints have allowed less than 15 fantasy points to Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, and Kirk Cousins. So I'm not excited to start Baker this week if I have him. That's a tough matchup. Same thing with Rachaad White and Bucky. I think because they're splitting that backfield, they're leaning more towards flex territory. But Rachaad White, I think, still is probably going to put up RB2 value. On the other side of the ball, you're definitely starting Kamara. That's probably it.
Running back one on the running back one, I think, on the season so far. I mean, he's been.
I think he's number one overall.
And they're just going to give him the ball even more.
Yeah.
Without Derek Carr, absolutely.
Spencer Rattler made some comment, and the internet went nuts because he joked about how his favorite. Yeah, because his favorite target in practice has been Olave, and the internet was like, "See, even Spencer gets it, Derek. Come on." So I think really it's going to be like Malik Willis when he was running that offense in Green Bay. You really only wanted to start Josh Jacobs. I think New Orleans, you really only want to start Kamara.
This is so disappointing though, because if Carr was playing, I would love Shaheed in this matchup. Like, I would love Shaheed in this matchup, but it is very disappointing to hear that he went down. He's probably down for a few weeks.
All right, going into the Washington Commanders versus Baltimore Ravens. On the start side, I love the Washington offense. They are on fire. I am going to play Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson Jr. I'm going to start/flex Austin Eckler and go into that on a confidence level. On the Baltimore side, you're starting Lamar Henry. I think this is a good flex option for Isaiah Likely, who did perform last week, as well as Zay Flowers. It's going to be interesting to say how that matchup goes because the Washington defense is not known for their to be concrete. So I think those are the two guys that I'm flexing on the Baltimore side. And, I know we talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but Mark Andrews continues to show decline. Mike's trifecta was the third string tight end of this Ravens offense. So I think you're starting to set I think you're already past the panic button, and now you're into DEFCON 5 for tight ends on this Baltimore Ravens.
As a longtime dynasty owner of Mark Andrews, I love the guy, and he is really, really horrifying me. I do believe that he's going to turn it around eventually because I think that they're kind of holding out to make sure that he's healthy for the playoff run. But that is totally wishful thinking. I'm really scared. I'm getting really scared of my Mark Andrews because I don't have a viable second option. Thanks for the breakdown. I'll actually take us into Arizona and Green Bay. And I think this is going to be a good game for fantasy. I think Arizona has still a pretty high-powered offense. They haven't had everything clicking right now, but I do believe they're going to make it work with a top-tier wide receiver. They still have Kyler Murray, and Trey McBride has really been showing up, right? Honestly, I also have been really liking Michael Wilson. I'm not going to sit here and say he's an immediate start, but depending on your team, I think he's absolutely a flex candidate. On the other side of the ball, Jordan Love actually is looking okay, right? I mean, I thought he was going to kind of come in, be hobbling around. He's looking okay. He's definitely producing for fantasy. I don't like the fact that he's throwing so many interceptions.
Love it.
I don't like the fact that he's throwing so many interceptions, though. Like, that's kind of concerning. He has not been very great with the ball.
He's still averaging like over 25 points a week. So,
but like, it's not great for like, it's good for fantasy. It's not good football, right? Like, that's the difference.
Yeah. So we have a game break. Jordan Mason is back in the game. Thank you.
Whoa.
I think I called that. I'm just saying.
You did.
But anyway, so Jordan Love, again, you're going to play him because he's solid. Jaden Reed, Josh Jacobs, and honestly, tight end. Possibly tight end, like top 5 at this point. Mr. Kraft, man. Mr. Kraft's been doing amazing. And honestly, Jordan loves throwing him the ball. You're
Yeah,
playing
man.
him. Someone to look out for, Dobbs. I think Dobbs is going to actually be great because he's kind of entering that time where he's going to basically be that volume machine. I think he's going to be a sleeper coming in, and you might want to get him for cheap. Guys who I would avoid Wicks, Melton, and Watson. Even Christian Watson, I love him too. But you know what? He hasn't been producing. He's coming off injury. If he comes in and plays anyway, I'd avoid him.
I disagree. Romeo Dobbs is not a good start. He's just coming off a suspension for refusing to practice. So no, I do not think that is a good call in my eyes.
So
I said flex.
He's a good flex if
He's
you
not
don't
a
have
lock
better
in start.
options, but you probably have a better option. I'm going to tend to agree with Tyler. Now, what's interesting that you brought up, Mike, and I actually called it earlier this season, and people told me I was crazy and said there's too many mouths to feed in Green Bay. But I do think that Jordan Love's two most reliable targets, and we're going to see it. We've seen it now. It's going to be the same by the end of the season. It's going to be Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft.
I was wondering if you were going to say him.
Yep, that's it. We're seeing Tucker Kraft is taking off. He's becoming a reliable go-to receiver for Love. He's becoming a safety pad for him a bit. So he's got those two, and then really everyone else is boom or bust. Dobbs, Watson, Wicks. You could have 20 points. You could have 2 points.
See, what I don't like about this, though, right? Like Tucker Kraft last game, he only had 5 targets. He did have 4 receptions for 88 yards, but one of them was like a 40 or 50-yard bomb. Like he's not getting that much volume to justify him being a like Kelsey, right? I think he's had 2 really good weeks, and I'm not sold on him yet. I think he's been great for the tight end position this year, but I'm not willing to level him up right now as a top 5 guy. He is right now, so you're going to play him because he's better than everybody else that you got. But I don't think I'm willing to say like he's the number 2 target in this offense.
I think that because of how many receivers the Green Bay Packers have, maybe in the offseason and during training camp, the chemistry he developed with Kraft was overshadowed. But we'll see.
He was out-targeted by Dontavian Wicks, and Dontavian Wicks just can't catch the ball.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I hope I just picked up Wicks in our Dynasty League, so hopefully better things.
For $200 fab. Damn.
Yeah, beat everybody in that. Other people bid to 200. I saw you bid 176. But moving on to our next matchup, we got Indy taking on Tennessee. So for this matchup, it's pretty interesting. For Indianapolis's running back situation, if JT's healthy, of course you're starting him. He's a top 10 guy. On the other side, you're watching to see what's going on with the quarterback situation. Right now, it looks like Richardson is going to be playing. So, I personally would not start Richardson if he's playing. I wouldn't start either quarterback if they're playing. Now, Trey Sermon, if JT is out, you're probably playing him at least in your flex. And it's not because you expect great things out of his carries, but there's going to be a volume factor. He's going to get a lot of play action if JT is out. Now, you could also consider Pittman Jr. Actually, Pittman Jr., I believe, is going to be out this week. They updated. Which to me...
He's out on IR.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's out for 4 weeks, which to me bumps Pearson downs up a little bit.
And Mitchell.
And Mitchell. Now, Tennessee's defense is pretty good, though. So even if they don't boom this week, one of those guys is going to step up in Pittman's absence. Now, on Tennessee's side of the ball, really nobody. You're playing Pollard. Literally, they have had an atrocious season. You've got, Ridley and Hopkins. I don't think are even top 50 wide receivers right now. Then you've got Spears.
Yeah, Ridley's number 62.
Yeah,
62 wide receiver.
Will Levis is, I don't think, a top 20 quarterback right now. Pollard is the only one who's top 20 at his position, and everyone else is awful. Don't play anybody here.
Game break. 49ers just got a touchdown to George Kittle.
Woo!
I'm glad I chose to play Purdy this week.
All right, going into what is going to be probably a great offensive matchup for the Houston and Texans and a terrible matchup for the New England Patriots. On the Houston side, you are starting everybody. That's C.J. Stroud, Stephon Diggs. I would even consider Tank Dell a flex, possibly even a start option at this point. And I don't know if Joe Mixon is back yet. I don't know if I received an update yet if Joe Mixon is healthy. I know he's limited in return to practice.
Yeah, they're being very cautious with him. I don't know if I would. I don't even know if I would play him if he was available because I think you just want to see what he's got.
I think you could still look for Akers to be a flex. He's been getting you about 8, 9, 10 points, and with buys, still not the worst flex option if you have 2 or 3 flex positions in your leagues. But from the New England side, confidently, I'm starting nobody. Unconfidently, I'm starting Ramondre Stevenson. Obviously, you paid what you wanted to get him, and so you are going to play him. Also, someone who you might consider in a flex is Antonio Gibson, who could potentially take over the backfield. Ramondre has been struggling the last week. He did blow up. It is going to be interesting because I have read that Drake May is going to make his debut start for this team. So I'm interested. I think we're going to have a lot of good information next week when we go over the Patriots to see, can this guy throw the ball or is he a scrambler and can run? So going to be a good eye-opening match. Houston's going to come away with it.
I am excited to see how this guy plays, especially it came out in Hard Knocks offseason that the Giants were pretty interested in trading up for him. I don't think they were the only one interested in trading up for him. I'm excited to see him play.
I am too. I am not excited to see him play behind that offensive line, though. I think the offensive line is still trash, and I am still honestly.
I would consider making him sit all year because of that.
I applauded the Patriots for not throwing him into the Wolves because of the team, and they know where they're at. I'm a little bit nervous that they're doing this to him in Week 6. Like maybe you just want to see what you got, but I mean this is a little scary. I would have expected this at the end of the season. But yeah, let's move on to the next game. We got Cleveland versus Philadelphia. Cleveland is going to be real simple. You're playing Amari Cooper. That is exclusively it. This is going to be a team that's going to be behind. Philadelphia is probably going to run away with it, and they're going to be trying to catch the ball up. So it's going to be thrown to Amari Cooper. His targets, he's the 4th most targeted player in the NFL right now, and he's going to catch hopefully half of them if Deshaun decides to throw him the ball like in a catchable reach. And he's going to put up fantasy points. Outside of him, you're not really playing anybody. Maybe monitor Njoku if he's coming back, but even he's probably not there. On the other side of the ball, I'd say you're playing opposite. I'd say you're playing everybody. You're playing Hurts. You got to monitor the wide receivers, AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. They were hurt. I still don't know if there's any commitment to them playing this week, but if they're playing,
it's trending.
I would play them. Yeah, I think they're trending upward. I just don't know if they've committed to either one of them playing. But I would play both of them, the defense and Saquon Barkley, who has been absolutely lights out.
Yeah, he has. He's been awesome. Now, moving on to the next matchup here.
Game break. We have the Seattle Seahawks, who just had a 97 kickoff return to the end zone, and it is now 23-9 San Francisco 49ers.
Good for me. Get
Now
Purdy
it's
back on the
23-10.
field.
Now it's 23-10.
Love it. Purdy's getting back on the field. It's all good for me.
Oh, and also, before you move on, Jordan, I'm going to call this my upset of the week. Cleveland is going to beat Philadelphia.
I was waiting for that. I actually thought you were going to choose this one. I did. I really thought you were going to choose this one. And I actually see it. I can see it. I don't agree with it, but I can see it. Do you want to explain why or no?
Nope.
So just random. Okay, got it.
Nope. It's all up here.
See.
Jordan, take us to Chargers.
All right. So we got the Chargers taking on the Broncos in the afternoon matchup starting there. I'm going to follow in suit from Tyler, and I'm going to talk about confident, unconfident, and do not plays. Confidently, you're starting J.K. Dobbins on LA's side of the ball. Unconfidently, you're maybe starting Herbert if you don't have a better quarterback option. And you're probably also starting McConkey in the flex. He's had a couple top 20 weeks. He's also had a couple of outside the top 50 weeks. So he is a bit of a hit or miss there. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say you can also start the Chargers defense this week. Now, on Denver's side of the ball, you can start their defense because their defense has been awesome, confidently. Now, unconfidently, you're starting Bo Nix if you need somebody. He's looking better. He is making better plays. Him and Cortland Sutton just don't seem to be connecting, though. I'm probably not starting Cortland Sutton. Now, the other part of is the backfield. It does look like Javonte is pretty much established himself as RB1 in their system. So if you do need a running back this week, you're also throwing him in the flex, but unconfidently.
Yep, I agree 100%. Moving on to Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. You're starting, I think Justin Fields, even with Russell Wilson coming back from injury, I think Justin Fields is going to be the starter in this game, and you are going to start him, especially against this Raiders defense. You are also going to throw in Pat Freiermuth. There's been not a lot of depth in the tight end position, and Freiermuth has put up points. Last week he had a stellar performance. On the Vegas side, speaking of tight ends, you are also confidently starting Brock Bowers. He is right now a top tight end, and he could be potentially in some of your leagues your league winner. Some of the guys that you're going to consider for the flex option, George Pickens, he's still not seen that volume. Justin Fields is connecting. He's got a pretty good completion percentage. Last week, I think he was, though, 17 for something. But George Pickens is someone you're going to flex. And from the Vegas side, depending on who, I believe Minshew should still be the quarterback. I would still consider Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers a flex because Devontae Adams is still out. And I think
agree.
last week was a kind of get back in a groove game for Minshew, so I do expect him to have a very good passing game this week.
Where do you guys rate George Pickens at this point? Is he a top 24? Top 30?
In terms of talent or fantasy?
I'm talking fantasy. He's such a disappointing talent because he is so talented, but he's just not doing it. And I kind of blame the system.
Well, yeah.
How would you, serious question, who do you play over him? Do you play Deontay Johnson or do you play George Pickens?
I would probably still play George Pickens.
I would consider Deontay Johnson. It's very tough. Here's where a lot of people are saying that George Pickens' situation is that he doesn't have anyone else. A.J. Brown has success because Devonta Smith is running on the opposite side of the field. St. Brown has success when Jameson Williams is running on the opposite side of the field. It's George Pickens and who? Nobody. So the defense knows they just got to cover him. If they had a legitimate receiver on the other side of George Pickens, he would be top 24. Because they don't, he's only top 36.
See, I disagree because I think it's the game script. It's Justin Fields throwing him the ball, and Justin Fields doesn't throw it enough. He's not going to see 50% of the target share. He's only going to see somewhere in the range of 30, right? And if Justin Fields is only throwing
30% target share is high.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's huge. And if you end up having Justin Fields only throw the ball 24 times, I think that's what he did last game. He's maxing out at 8 targets, and he's the only guy they're looking at. The talent is so there, and I'm having a hard time because he's just not producing. So it's sad. But we can move on to the next game. So I'm covering Atlanta and Carolina. This is the 4:25 game on Sunday, not Monday. Just saying, I got that one. And
proud of you.
Out of the plays here, I'm really liking after a monstrous Atlanta week, right? After that great Thursday night game against the Bucks, I'm looking for them to pick up where they left off. I'm thinking Drake London. I'm thinking Bijan Robinson. I actually think Darnell Mooney is, again, another play. I think he's been seeing a tremendous amount of targets. He's been getting a tremendous amount of catches. And I would almost argue that he was just as much of a first look as Drake London when they're in the passing game. And Kirk Cousins loves to pass the ball. So I would love to play all of them. One who is not seeing the targets, Kyle Pitts. Outside of last game where he's basically just gotten 7 out of 56 targets or something like that. He's just not seeing what we needed, and he's not getting what we expected at the draft. I think we're all out on Pitts. He can give you a boom game, but I wouldn't count on it here. As for the other side, the only plays you're playing out of Carolina, Chuba Hubbard, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson, again, target machine. I would absolutely have him in my lineup, especially given the fact that we have some high-profile fantasy assets that are on bye this week. Everyone else just sit on your bench. Actually, don't even sit him on your bench. Put him on waivers. They shouldn't even be on your bench.
Do you flex Xavier Legette?
No.
With Andy Dalton behind the helm?
No. He also just
I would
got hurt.
consider it.
Yeah, I would too.
All right.
He also just got hurt. I don't. He is not getting targets, and he's not catching the ball when he's healthy, and then he just got hurt. So I'm not.
Man.
Okay.
Now, moving on to the next matchup, we've got Detroit Lions, Tyler's favorite team, taking on Dallas Cowboys, my least favorite team. So let's go Lions. Now, on the Detroit side of the ball, who am I starting with confidence? I'm starting St. Brown because he's a freaking stud. You drafted him where you drafted him for a reason. He's your ride or die guy. Stay with him. Jameson Williams, he is playing awesome in his third year. I expect that to continue. If you have Monty and or Gibbs, you have either one. I think both of them you gotta start unless you somehow have two better running backs. But both of them are start value, not even just flex value. On the other side, you've got Goff. He's playing well. He's serviceable, especially in a week where you're missing guys like Mahomes, Sam Darnold, maybe somebody that you drafted earlier. The person that concerns me, I'm still playing them unconfidently. Sam Laporta. Things have just not clicked. I'm very hopeful that they went on a bye week. They did, this will be a refresher for him, and he'll get more involved in that passing game. But right now, you're starting him, just not confidently. On the Dallas side of the ball, who are you starting confidently? You've got Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. You're probably starting them confidently every week. Then Ferguson, you're also starting him confidently. Tight ends have not been great, but he is averaging over 8 points a week, which right now is freaking fantastic among tight ends. Now, who are you starting on Dallas's side? Not confidently, Brandon Cooks. He has had 3 weeks in a row with less than 3 points. If he's still on your team, he better be on the bench.
Well, you know what, Jordan? I wouldn't start him either because he's on the IR.
Oh, there you go.
That does mean something.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I'm with you, Jordan. You're starting all the Lions, and I think you got your confidence in the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm right there with you. Going into Cincinnati Bengals and Jordan's team, the New York Giants, coming off a big win against the Seahawks. We have Burroughs Chase. I think you can confidently start Chase Brown now.
Baby.
Don't believe Zach Moss is out just yet. He is still questionable. He is limited.
Yeah,
but
he is not out yet, so that's great.
And if he is out, you're starting Chase Brown. If he's not out, I would.
That's great.
Yeah, I would probably both flex him. You're also and if Neighbors is back, which he's expected to be, you're going to start him from a Giants side. Flexing wise, you're going to flex T. Higgins. He had a monster performance last week. We'll see if it happens again. Mike Gesicki, I think he's still a viable tight end. From the Giants side, it's hard to say who else outside of Malik Neighbors, but you could look at Wan'Dale Robinson. He is continuing to get targets. Tyrone Tracy did have a good game last week against the Seahawks. And Daniel Jones, if you're desperate, I just don't like it at all.
All right, hold on. I mean, yeah. For quarterbacks missing this week and bye week, let's say you had Matthew Stafford and Sam Darnold. One of them's hurt and one of them's on a bye. Daniel Jones is a viable option.
I'd rather do Deshaun.
I don't hate.
I
don't hate Daniel Jones this week at all. I think it's going to be a shoot. I think Cincinnati's defense has proven to be very, very poor, and it might very well be a shootout. If Neighbors is out, by the way, I'm also going to throw another name out here. Darius Slayton blew up in the absence of Neighbors last week.
Top 10 week.
and he might do it again because, again, I am expecting the Giants to be down. I'm expecting them to be down quickly, and they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Now, do I trust it? No, this is absolutely not a confident play, but it has potential to blow up again. So Darius Slayton might be someone you want to pick up, probably off of waiver wires, to be honest. And if Singletary's out, I would actually even move Tracy all the way over to the start very confidently. He looks
I think this
absolutely
is
great.
For me, this is going to be a get right game for the Giants, except when I say get right, I mean get right back into the last place position they should be in. So I think this is going to be the exact opposite. This is going to be a Cincinnati blowout.
Dude,
I hope it is
because
I love their
ways to
offense.
shoot themselves in the foot this season. So we shall see.
You are correct. They have, but I guess I'm thinking, honestly, I'm going to put this as Mike's upset of the week, and I actually might say
only I get it.
I might say
who are you going with?
The Giants might actually take this one out.
Woo! That was my upset
I might
of
say
the
the
week.
Giants
I
take this
thought
one.
about picking it this week again. I don't want to pick the same team twice in a row. Not doing it. And I can't jinx my Giants.
Tyler, I still get a vote. I still get a choice. You just get the music selection. That's fine.
No.
Yeah. We're picking our underdogs
happened,
of the week
so.
too. Which, speaking of which,
It just happened. Let's go into the next underdogs.
Go into
right?
Mike's next matchup, which is going to be my underdog pick, which we'll get to in a second.
I thought you just said it was
thanks
the
for
other one.
the throw up, the softball.
Okay, so here we go. Buffalo versus the Jets. I am very, very eager about this game. Monday Night Football. It's going to be a great game amongst divisional rivals. Buffalo.
He finally
Bills.
got Monday right.
I did. I got it. It was the next M. It was the second M. Buffalo, who are you playing? Honestly, confidently, I think all I'm playing really right now is Josh Allen and Kincaid and Cook. That's it. That's the only confident plays that you're having here. And Cook is honestly injured right now. He actually did not practice as of Thursday. So if he does not play, it's going to be bad news for pretty much the entire offense. But the other guys you can definitely throw in there. Coleman is a possibility, but he's been struggling with drops, so I don't really love that either. And Shakir has been the offensive pass catcher, really. He's been the guy who's been getting all the targets. I would love to play him. However, he also did not play Thursday. We just got to monitor that.
Oh, I was just going to ask
on the other
if
side
he's
of the ball,
back.
Yeah, he did not play he did not practice on Thursday, so he has to be monitored. But if he does, I would absolutely throw him in as a PPR machine. Finally, on the Jets side of the ball, Breece Hall really not playing very well, not producing for you, but he's a lock. You have to play him, or you find some other way to turn him into a trade for somebody else who might produce more. But I think you have to ride that train because this will be a get right game for him, I believe, especially with the new coaching staff and them just changing that over. They're going to change it up. It's going to be in Breece Hall's hands a lot more.
I'm putting this as my upset of the week, and I think the New York Jets are going to beat Buffalo.
See, it's just not much of an upset. In fact, I don't even think that is an upset. That's the projection.
No?
Really?
Buffalo's
lost. The underdog?
You think Buffalo's not the underdog?
They shouldn't be.
Let's check the money line. Bills, Jets, money line. And it is right now the Jets are the underdog.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Bills 145, Jets 120.
Yeah.
So it's like even. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm picking the Jets. I think the Jets are going to beat them. It's going to come out of nowhere. Rodgers is just going to go, this is my offense. You guys take care of defense and take off.
I also believe the Jets are going to win, but I also don't believe that this is an underdog scenario. So, I mean, maybe I'll be throwing a bet in there. Hey, FanDuel.
Bills are a better team.
All right. So that was our week 6 preview, and we're looking forward to all those games coming up this week. Woo-hoo! Now to get into Duel of the Fools. And as a correction, I have 19, Jordan has 18, and Mike has 15 right guesses. And it is 2, 2, and 3 with Jordan in the lead on weeks 1. Little stat correction last week. But Jordan, bring us into our first QB matchup.
All right. First QB matchup, we got actually 2 former college teammates. Jalen Hurts, whose opponent is Cleveland Browns, taking on Baker Mayfield, whose opponent is New Orleans Saints. Tyler, who do you have?
I'm going with Baker Mayfield.
Mike?
I am also going with Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to do well.
Ooh, I don't like this matchup, as I mentioned earlier, for Baker. I think both receivers for the Eagles come back, and I went with Jalen Hurts in this matchup. Now, on the running back.
Game break. Kenneth Walker Jr. just scored a touchdown. It is now 23-17 as long as they take the field goal. Continue,
Okay. So, out of our 3 running back matchups, the first one, we have Saquon Barkley, who's taking on the Browns, going up against Alvin Kamara, taking on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike, who do you have?
I think the question is, who do we all have? Oh, you did it again.
I didn't even mean to this time.
Yes.
All right.
We all picked Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley. Okay.
I didn't notice Jordan picked him, to be honest. I knew Tyler, and I did.
Now, running back matchup 2, we have DeAndre Swift.
I had an explanation on that one.
Okay.
Oh, well, we're moving on.
Tell us why Saquon Barkley is going to be better than Kamara this week.
I was going to say, this is me choosing Saquon is why I don't have Jalen Hurts over Baker. I think Saquon's going to take all the touchdowns that Jalen Hurts does.
That's a very fair point. Very fair point. It's possible. I just think that those touchdowns might be passing. Short passes, but still passing. Now,
to Saquon.
Exactly. So, running back 2, we have DeAndre Swift taking on Jacksonville's awful defense. And Josh Jacobs going up against Arizona Cardinals. Tyler, who do you got?
I'm going with Josh Jacobs. I don't think DeAndre Swift. The Bears still don't know who they want to be their running back. So I'm going with the guy who is the only running back going up against a pretty weak run defense.
Mike?
This is a close one to me, honestly, but I'm actually choosing Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to be just a workhorse here. And DeAndre Swift might get a game break rush, but I think Josh Jacobs is going to volume his way to do a better game.
I think this is about the last week I would do it, but I'm actually going with DeAndre Swift. I think that he put up a top 3 week last week. He's going to continue on that momentum. I don't think it'll be consistent, but this defense he's taking on is not good. Jacksonville's not a good defense, so get up early and they'll just hand it off to Swift. Moving on to running back matchup 3. Oh, Mike?
I like your thought.
Thank you. I just think Jacksonville's defense is so bad, it gives Swift an opportunity with volume. Now, for running back 3, or matchup 3, we've got Brian Robinson Jr. taking on Baltimore Ravens and James Conner going up against the Green Bay Packers. Mike, who do you think's going to do better this week?
I hate you. I hate you. We all chose James Conner. All right, fucking move on.
And why did you choose James Conner?
Yeah, we're gonna give you a reason this time.
Because you guys did, and I wanted to basically talk. How's that?
Okay, good answer. So we all think James Conner's going to have a good week. I guess Baltimore's upfront defensive line's decent, but also he's sharing that backfield a lot more with Eckler than James Conner has to share with anyone else. So then on wide receiver matchup 1 of the week, we have DJ Moore taking on Jacksonville's defense, who I mentioned is not very good. And then Rashid Shaheed taking on Tampa Bay. Tyler, who do you have?
Whoa, you're switching it up. We all have DJ Moore.
Lands how it lands. Every other one.
Yeah, we all went with DJ Moore, and I think that's just because none of us trust Rashid is this offense, and especially with a quarterback behind the helm. It's DJ Moore.
This is a questionable call with Derek Carr, but without Derek Carr, Rashid Shaheed has honestly been reduced to pretty much nothing in my head.
We think he is still the number 1 wide receiver on the team. So, I'm not confident, but we'll see.
Yeah, we could see. Again, I made this matchup when, full transparency, when I thought, of Derek Carr. Forgot it was going to be Spencer Rattler. But I also just think DJ Moore is going to have an awesome week again. Jacksonville's defense is not good, and it does look like as of last week, Caleb Williams and DJ Moore finally showed some chemistry. Now, moving on to wide receiver matchup 2, we've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, a Lion, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Or, on the other side of the ball, we got CeeDee Lamb taking on Detroit Lions. Mike, who do you think is going to have a better week?
Love this. I actually chose CD Lamb. This is a toss-up. It's a tough one, but I'm going to go with the GOAT.
I'm actually with Mike. I think CD's just been way more
Who's
consistent.
the GOAT? Did you say CD?
The Lamb.
You
I'm
just
gonna
said
go with the
GOAT.
Lamb.
Oh, that was not clever at all.
It took me a
I
second.
didn't mean for that.
That was boo. I'm going with Amon Ra. Move on. That was terrible. Someone
I
boot
didn't
him
even
off
mean-
the call.
CD is way more consistent this season. I think he's going to have a better week. Plus, he's like the only target.
We just
for
lost the
St.
one
Brown.
viewer we had.
Bye, Dan. Okay, so wide receiver matchup 3. We've got Brian Thomas Jr., who we were talking about how awesome he is, how he's clearly the number 1 in Jacksonville, taking on Chicago's very good pass defense this week. On the other side of the ball, you have Drake London, and he's taking on Carolina's defense of the week. Tyler, who do you have in this matchup?
I don't like it, but I picked Brian Thomas Jr.
It's not a bad pick.
It's wrong. I'm gonna lose, but I'm not like you guys where I
I'll
change it
win.
live on air. So
I didn't do that either.
you both did.
This week?
No.
Shut up.
So
So
when do you say that? We haven't done that at all. In fact, I haven't done it. And I've definitely caught you guys doing that. But whatever, that's a cool.
But Drake London.
I'm choosing Drake
I
London.
chose Drake London. Yeah. No, I chose Drake London.
No, I chose. Well, actually, I chose him first, literally.
Quite literally, you did. But why'd you choose him?
I think he is going to get. I think Kirk Cousins is getting more and more involved. And I think he really likes to throw the ball. He just likes to throw the ball a lot. And I think he's getting more comfortable in this offense, and he's going to keep throwing the ball a lot. And a lot of those are going to go to Drake London.
I will
And it's
say
against Carolina.
Kirk looked like he looked calm and confident in that passing
He looked
game.
vintage. He looked amazing.
I'm excited to see. I know you brought it up earlier with London and Mooney, what they're going to become. We're not even halfway through the season.
I think that's a great duo to have, and I think he really is going to target the hell out of both of them.
Yeah, moving on to a tied-up matchup of the week. We got Trey McBride of the Cardinals taking on the Packers. And then you got Jake Ferguson going up against the Detroit Lions. Mike, who do you have?
I have Jake Ferguson. I
Wrong.
really like him in this matchup. I might be wrong, but I will go down with pride.
I'm kidding, but only a little. I have Trey McBride.
And I got Trey McBride as well. Can't go against the Lions.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And that wraps up our Duel of the Fools this week. We got some pretty exciting matchups, though.
Yes, it does. And that also wraps up the episode. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed our second episode of the week. And good luck in your Week 6 matchups, Fools. Have a great night, and we will see you next week. Peace out.